first SportsCenter breaking news, and it's some big news out of New York. You know it's big news when we have Adam Schefter here with us. Adam, what can you tell us about what's going on with the Jets?
The New York Jets are hiring their former player, their former scout, Aaron Glenn, as their next head coach. So there's a new coach in New York. It is the coach that people have been waiting for them to hire. Aaron Glenn had been a leading candidate for the Jets, the New Orleans Saints, but obviously opted for the franchise that drafted him in the first round, a franchise he knew well. He flew in yesterday, spent the day with them, and now he is accepting a deal to coach with the New York Jets. It's a big deal for them, getting the coach that they want, a former player. It also continues the trend that has started across the league. We now see 5 current NFL head coaches coaching the team that they once played for. Aaron Glenn with the Jets, Mike Vrabel with the Patriots, Dan Campbell with the Lions, Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers, D'Amico Ryans with the Texans. So a lot of former players returning to their teams to coach them, and Aaron Glenn becomes the latest one to land a deal with the New York Jets, accepting an offer to become their head coach just minutes ago.
Okay, so one of the biggest questions into the offseason was who their head coach was going to be, but also what's going to happen with their quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. So what does this hire mean for Aaron Rodgers' future in New York?
Well, that's down the line. I would think they have to go get a general manager first. That will be the next order of business for this franchise, figuring out who they're going to match with Aaron Glenn. Then, once they have a head coach and a GM, organizationally, they can sit down and decide what's best. Plus, Aaron Rodgers has got to decide that he wants to play, which we don't know that that's going to happen yet. So he's got to go through his process. The Jets have to go through their process. And then, obviously, down the line, we'll figure out what that means for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, all right. This leaves the Lions without their OC and DC now. Dan Campbell obviously has a lot to work out this offseason. Amina?
All right, here with our NFL analyst, Jason McCourty. You heard the news right there, and Glenn going to the Jets. Your reaction to that news?
Well, you get fired up because everything you've heard about Aaron Glenn is that he is a leader of men and his ability to connect with the guys in the locker room. This is a Jets team that had high hopes a season ago, and they kind of fell on their face. So now enter Aaron Glenn, coming to a familiar organization with an opportunity to turn things around. And Christine just said it, the question marks are going to come. Who's going to be the offensive coordinator? Who's going to be the quarterback taking the ball from under center? But for right now, for the New York Jets, you got a guy that was coveted in this search with other teams, and you have a guy that's going to lead this franchise and tell people how it is in the locker room.
And then Aaron Rodgers said after the season that he'd wait until the coach and GM were hired in order to make his decision on his future. What do you think this all means for Aaron Rodgers moving forward?
I think for him right now, you're settling in from a long season. You're figuring out what's next. And I think the next thing will be a conversation with Aaron Glenn and getting a chance to know each other. At Aaron Rodgers' age at this point, you want to make sure you're in a situation that's advantageous to you and you know where the organization is moving, so you're knowing you're prepared to go out there and perform in year one. But with all that being said, the Jets have to decide that they want Aaron Rodgers to be back, and that has to be a mutual relationship. But this is the first thing that gets this started to build a relationship to see if there's going to be a future for both sides.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see how this situation will play out. But also, you got to feel for the Lions as well, losing their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator. Dan Campbell has a lot of work to do during the off season.